How to install the Brave browser on Arch Linux, and more specifically Endeavour OS, which is a derivative of Arch. Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm the lead research technician here at the How to Linux Research Labs, and I'm also the administrator of the Pop OS Linux Facebook group on Facebook. Okay, so today's video is how to install the Brave browser on Endeavour OS, which is a derivative of Arch Linux. Okay, so here's my my desktop. This is XFace, XFCE, kind of a lightweight desktop. And here's my NeoFetch here, so we can actually verify that we are actually on or in a Endeavour OS Linux environment. Endeavour OS. Get some particulars here. Pretty much the most current kernel, I think, or pretty close to it. It's a rolling release, so we get updates pretty frequently. A lot of updates every day or every other day. And okay, so here's my NeoFetch here, proving that I'm indeed in an Endeavour OS environment. Okay, so we'll clear on that. We'll get to the meat of the matter here. You can install Brave browser here on Endeavour OS through unofficial packages. Brave recommends that you use their official packages, but there is a way to do it through the unofficial package way as well, just in case they don't ship a package for your distro, and that applies to Arch. These packages are community maintained, and so Brave takes no responsibility for them. So kind of proceed at your own risk, I guess. On Arch, there's two different command line package managers that I'm aware of for the most part. One's Pacman, and one is called Yay, Y-A-Y, and the Yay package manager is actually considered an AUR helper, Arch user repository helper. So I'm going to use Yay. You can also use Pacman, and I'll probably make another video for Pacman. So I'm gonna use Yay this time, and so let's take a look at Yay. I don't know if you have it. It's probably not installed out of the box on your system. You're gonna have to install it. On mine, it's already installed. Here's the version here, 12.13, and that's pretty much the newest version, I do believe. And you can install Yay by doing this command here. Sudo pacman, which is pretty much the main package manager for Arch, and then so yeah, sudo pacman -S for install. I think this is like, it's not like typically what you would expect to see, like an I or whatever, or install. I think S is like synchronize. Don't forget, Arch has their own way of doing things. And then of course we're going to install Yay. Okay, so it's already installed on mine, but I'll go ahead and enter on that anyway. And as you can see here, it's just going to reinstall the same version. Old version is 12.1.3.1, and it's going to just install the same version again. So no harm done here. You can go ahead and just go through it again. So on yours, this is what you're going to want to do if you don't already have it installed. And then once it reinstalls it, go back and just verify that it's still installed on the path and everything. We can use Yay now, okay? So you can see here 12.1.3. Okay, good. Okay, so we're all set to use Yay to install the Brave browser on Endeavour OS Linux. Okay, so we're clear on that. And pretty simple, pretty straightforward here. go into a sudo session. I'm not sure if sudo is necessary, but we'll see what happens. Pretty straightforward. Only really one line of command here to do. There's a few different versions of Brave. There's like beta. There's a beta version. There's a nightly version. I'm gonna try to just do the I believe this is the release channel, but since it's on Arch, it might actually be more beta or a nightly. I'm not really quite sure which version it's actually going to be. But we're going to go ahead and I do believe this will be the command I'm going to use. I do believe will be for the stable version. I don't think it's beta or nightly. There are other commands to use for beta versions and nightly versions or builds, but I'm going to just do the stable version, the stable release version. Okay, so pretty simple. It's just brave-bin, and bin is for binary. So once you have this command keyed in here, let's see if I need sudo or not. It's always good to use, just in case. Okay, so yeah, I can't do it here as root. It says avoid running yay as root. Okay, so let's Control Z out of there and go back to the top here. Arrow over here. Get rid of sudo session and just use yay as a normal user. Okay, yay as a normal user. $ command prompt, no sudo session. Yay dash capital S brave dash bin. Okay, that should get us the stable version of Brave installed on Endeavour OS Linux. Okay, so I'm going to enter on that, and it's going to go ahead and download and install it. Okay, it's going to prompt me here. If you're kind of new to Arch and or Endeavour, they do have their output is pretty. I guess the other distros are verbose too, but they have their own language here, so you're going to have to kind of get used to what's being outputted to the screen. You don't really get this on Pop and Debian, all these prompts to proceed with installing updates and packages and whatnot. So I'll walk you through it real quick. I've been doing this for a little while now. So packages to clean build, and it gives you some options here. I always say all, just to be on the safe side. So you see, all is A. It's actually, I can key in small a. I believe I'm always using small a. So packages to clean build, I always say all. I put a small a in there, and differences to show, I always say none on that one. I don't need to see. There's no differences to show anyway. And that should be the last one. And then so even though it says a capital N, if you go small case n, that should work as well. Okay, so we're past all the prompts there, and it's going to download it here. Okay, going pretty quickly. I think I'll just keep the video rolling here. And then it's going to give a bunch of verbose output to the screen here that we're going to have to read, and there might be another prompt here as well. So back when it's okay, I think this is the last line here usually. I think the next prompt is going to be for me to, it's going to prompt me, do I want to install it? Usually sources are ready is like the last one. Okay, there's some more here. I think we're getting close to the point where it's going to ask me if I want to actually install it. A lot of output. You don't usually get a lot of this on like Debian or Ubuntu or Mint or whatever, or Pop. You don't get nearly, you might have a lot of output on those distros, but it's a different type of information that's being outputted to the screen. I do believe at this point it's kind of doing some kind of compiling or pre-compiling. Don't forget, the Arch kind of, it definitely operates on a different level than, your Debian and Ubuntu distro family and Red Hat Fedora with their dedicated .deb and .rpm native packages. Here, it's definitely a different way of doing things. Okay, so I was definitely expecting for this line to come up here, where it's going to prompt me to proceed with the installation. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just take a quick little look here. So it's going to install Brave. Here's the version here. We can verify that later when we're actually in the browser. And then here's going to be, the size of what Brave's going to take up on the disk in its vanilla, its base install. 331 megabytes. Okay. And of course that gets bigger as you use Brave and you add bookmarks, extensions, as you add data, as you browse and your data cache grows and whatnot, this gets bigger. So proceed with installation. Okay, it does show a capital Y. Again, I can use a small case Y. So I'm going to key in a small case Y, enter on that to proceed with the installation, and then it's going to go ahead and install Brave browser. And okay, that was it. That was pretty quick. So we're clear on that. Okay. Now, two ways of launching it usually: GUI and GUI method and command line method. So let's go for the GUI method first. You can see it's not on my desktop here. Now I should have showed everybody my applications just to see that it was not installed, but believe me, it was not already installed. So we can just do a search here. Okay, there's Brave. On XFace, it's pretty simple to add a desktop shortcut, so I always just do that. Okay, here's Brave, and we're going to launch it through, the GUI method here. So standard left double click, and there's the Brave browser. Okay, now I'm not going to get into all the configurations and whatnot. I will come over here and take a look at the version real quick. And what are we looking at here? About Brave, version 1.58.127. Okay, that's what we were. And I do believe this is. You can always verify, through looking at the Brave documentation to see what their most current version is. But this probably is pretty current here, if not the most current version. Okay, so yeah, I would suggest getting used to all their settings here, and then go ahead and just poke around all the controls and everything. But you can see Brave has been installed, and we launched it via the GUI method. And there's always a plan. There's always another way of doing launching of programs in case your GUI doesn't work. You can always come to the terminal. I'm not sure what the command here is. Let's see what happens. I just kind of went with Brave. Okay, I was right. I was right. It was Brave. Okay, so it launched here, and here's some output here. Now, it's always good to do the GUI first. Obviously, that's the most convenient way of launching programs. But let's say you have a problem launching it in the GUI method. So you come to the terminal, and okay, I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. You come to the terminal, and you always, if it's on the path and whatnot, you can always launch it from or at least try to launch programs from the terminal. And that way, if there's any launching issues or it launches, but you have problems, working with the program on the front end, then there'll be some. Hopefully, there'll be some error messages that you can come back and look at. in the terminal. For whether you have launch problems or usage problems, you can come to the terminal here, and hopefully any errors that you get on the front end here will be, there'll be some kind of error message that you can possibly try to debug what's going on here. Keep in mind that when you have the process running in the terminal, that you have to also keep the front end open, because if you kill the front end here, the process in the terminal will end, and vice versa. If you kill the process in the terminal, then the front end will end. So they kind of have to live together, and it does add a little bit of clutter to your workflow. You have to keep a dedicated window and tab open for the whatever process that you launched from there. But you can always just kind of bypass all that by just doing it from the GUI like we did from the application folder here. Otherwise, you have to keep these both open together. It's just good to do this only if you have like problems launching or using it in the GUI front end. Otherwise, these have to live together. And like I said, it can kind of clutter things up a little bit. But yeah, you can see every time you do something on the front end here, like if I do skip here, let's see if that actually added anything. Well, I don't know, but a lot of times what you do on the front end here is going to reflect here, for better or for worse. So yeah, this was the command here, Brave, and it launched it. Okay. Now let's see what happens if you get some output here. It's very cryptic. You're going to have to know how to decipher some of the stuff to use for your own, just to wrap your mind around what's happening, or to do some debugging in case things go wrong or whatever. You're going to have to know how to read some of this output here. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we Control Z on the process. It still stays open, but probably if you were to do stuff with it, it might not work anymore, or it'll just freeze or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of frozen here. Let's come over here and close it real quick. Do I want to terminate the application? Yeah. So yeah, again, when you kill the back-end process, the front end either goes away or freezes or whatever. And the same thing if you were to X out the browser, then this would go back to a prompt like this probably. So we're clear on that. And we'll go back and we'll leave you with my NeoFetch screen here. See, there's no version for Endeavour. It's just a rolling release, so there's no like version name or number. It just always updates itself in place. Okay? Okay, so that was how to install the Brave browser on Endeavour OS Linux rolling release. And so yeah, I showed you how to install the EA AUR helper with Pacman, and then to verify the version of it. Then we used EA to install the Brave stable release, and then I showed you how to launch it from the GUI and from the command line, and some of the things to consider for each method that you're trying to launch it from, whether it's GUI or command line. Okay, so that was how to install the Brave browser on Endeavour OS Linux. And we'll take one more quick look at, let's see here. Do I want to? Yes, I would say probably that's a good thing to do. And then we'll go ahead and restore on that, and we'll go back to their default start page or whatever. Okay. And skip on that. And then you can go ahead and configure your browser this way. Okay, so we're good there. And then here, so here's Brave out of the box, and then you have to just go ahead and configure everything. So we'll minimize on that. Okay, so we'll take one more quick look here. Let's see here. Let's go to brave.com real quick here. Yeah, okay, here's their homepage. And I would just go here and poke around their documentation and and just familiarize yourself with their homepage here, brave.com. Okay, so that was how to install the Brave browser on Endeavour OS Linux. And I am Paul, and I am the lead research technician here at the How to Linux Research Labs, and I am also the administrator for the Pop! OS Linux Facebook group. And I want to thank you for subscribing and watching, and for your comments and your feedback. Until my next video, thank you and goodbye.